Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
Alright, Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Ba'Shem. Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. Barakatam to the hopeful elect. Alright, and so, not a lot of people know about this guy, Jose Delgado. All right, and says he was I believe it was an Edomite. Says he was Spanish, so might have been an Edomite, but nevertheless, yeah, a lot of people, they don't know about this guy and his his research. He was pretty much a yeah, I'm trying to get set up here. He was pretty much a what do you call it? Psychologist or something along those lines. Neuropsychologist or psychologist or something dealing with the brains and the neurons and things of that nature. And again, people, a lot of people, they don't know about this guy. Pretty much, he did like research on, and studying the mind control via electrical stimulations, for the brain. Like you see here in this video, they were able to pretty much, this raging bull, right? They were pretty much at the flip of a switch. They were able to, control this bull's emotions, right, via electrical signals, right? Which again, that was part of the study. This guy Jose Delgado, all right, he was able to invoke responses in the brain via these electrical pulses, all right. And he did, from what I what I was looking up, all right, he mostly studied animals like monkeys and cats and things like that. But from what I understand, also from further research, he actually did do research on humans, like mental health patients and stuff like that. And I have another video I want to play here. It's supposed to be like a little, I'll say like a skit or something or whatever, based on this guy, Jose Delgado. And again, just a video on pretty much the research that he's done. So I'm gonna play this video and get into just a few precepts.
Now, I convince you.
Delgado is fascinated by Swiss research on electrodes implanted in the brains of living cats.
And also, what they mentioned in the first video, the first clip that I played, all right, via these, because again, it's based off like electrical pulses, stimulations in the brain via radio frequency, all right, or I think what they say RF, which basically, it ties into which is basically the mark of the beast, the chip. All right, but again, before I further my point, just play the rest of this video out.
Stimulated the brain with electricity, the cat's paw moved, like so. It is showing we can change the electrical workings in a living brain. And I think, no, I believe.
So this guy, again, basically through his studies and whatnot, all right, he's able to pretty much control people's emotions via, electrical pulses, all right, invoking responses from the brain.
We can fix people.
So it's true. You want to stick wires in a human brain.
I offer a choice. Lobotomy. Chop up the brains with a knife. Or a few wires in the brain. No permanent damage. You control how strong is the effect. Turn it off, the effect is gone. Which would you choose?
Delgado suspected that mental problems like schizophrenia and epilepsy might be caused by aberrant electrical activity in the brain, not a physical defect. And so what he wanted to do was jolt these disruptions and hopefully reboot the normal organized activity in the brain rather than cut it up with a knife.
It takes Delgado several years before he is ready to try his ideas on a human.
Delgado was aware that different parts of the brain were involved in different things. So, for instance, there's a part of the brain that's involved in controlling the muscles, and the more frontal parts of the brain are involved in thinking and planning skills. What Delgado didn't know was what would happen if you were able to stimulate these parts of the brain with electricity.
Keep your hand like this. Nice. Now don't move a muscle. Oh, please, sir. Keep it open.
Wow. I guess your electricity is stronger than my will.
If you want to move your arm, an electrical impulse travels from motor cortex eventually to the arm. What Delgado was doing is substituting that natural electrical impulse with a man-made one. And when he did, his subjects had no choice but to move.
So, and keep in mind, this is stuff that they've done like over 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. They were conducting these experiments. This stuff, because it may sound like a far-fetched idea to a lot of people, but again, this stuff, I often use examples like for my Marvel fans, when they have certain characters like Black Widow and, others like Bucky, the Winter Soldier, how they're pretty much being mind controlled, because again, this is stuff that they've been doing conducting these experiments on people. All right. But the point I was going to make is this is stuff that they were doing for over 50, 60 years. How they're pretty much be able to control your brain via electrical pulses. If they were able to do that then, how much more now? Because again, I'm sure they've had many, trial and errors, right? Because, back then, they were, sticking stuff in people like wires and stuff, that was probably frying people's brains and stuff. And this is why they're coming out with the idea of chips that they can implant into the body. All right. Talks about using these polymers and all this synthetic material and stuff like that to pretty much pretty much stuff that's compatible with human tissue and DNA and stuff like that, right? But the point being, if they were able to, have this much control back then, how much more now? Because best believe, when once they start issuing those chips and people start taking those chips, man, again, because once you take that chip, man, you're given pretty much ownership to Esau, and I'm gonna get that in Revelation 18 because again, time in and time out, we say it's about control. All right, with these electrical pulses, all right, who's to say that there's not another human being at the other end of the stick, controlling and pushing buttons,
Delgado begins working with mentally ill patients, violent schizophrenics, normally candidates for lobotomy.
She stabbed several people. It's mostly strangers. And the nurse. So you need to be careful.
What? Doc, if she does freak out, she'll rip the wires out, ruin the equipment, maybe even hurt someone.
Don't worry. The equipment will be perfectly safe.
To address this problem of wires needing to come in and out of the skull, he invented the stimoceiver, which is a radio receiver attached to electrodes in the brain, which he operated with a radio transmitter and a remote control, much the same way as one might operate a model aircraft.
Okay, so you were going to play for us.
Turn it off! Turn it off now! Turn it off!
Delgado can induce abnormal behavior in a mental patient by radio control. And he can manufacture emotions even more personal than anger.
God, you're handsome. I don't think I've ever seen anyone so handsome in my life.
The woman wasn't naturally attracted. She had had an electrode that was planted into her amygdala, which is this structure here. And it's an important part of our emotional response system. So by electrically stimulating the region, they were able to induce a sexual response in this woman externally.
Delgado also produces fear, calmness, even euphoria, all at the touch of a button. Though he set out to cure, Delgado's research has produced an unintended side effect. Remote mind control.
So yeah, again, they were able to do this so many years ago. How much more today? And again, the idea of pretty much mind control via these chips, all right? Because again, with the Esau's technology, all right, people that get these chips, man, it's no telling, man. Esau, he can freaking put a thought into an individual's mind to kill someone. Because again, it's, all this study and all this research, all right. Esau, well, ultimately, because of course, Yahweh Shem Yoshai gave them this wisdom, all right, because this is the blessing, all right, the modern day sword, and pretty much their technology, all right. The Lord gave them this wisdom on the left hand. But yeah, so yeah, how much more advanced do you think, when it comes to this technology, how much more advanced you think it is in today's day and age? the goal is complete control. You know, they're going to be able to, I mean, if you take that chip, man, you're pretty much signing you're selling your soul. That's a very real thing. There's a very such thing as selling your soul. And if you take that chip, all right, that's exactly, you're selling your soul. All right, the ultimate form of idol worship. You know, Esau, man, they're gonna have freaking complete control over you, man. You know, like I said, man, Esau, he's gonna be putting thoughts into people to kill other people. And, you know, just you know, giving people all type of weird dreams. And, you know, people are going to be bugging out, man. They're going to be clawing these chips out of them and stuff after some time. You know, because eventually, you know, people are going to start noticing that something's wrong after they take those chips. They're going to notice that something's wrong with them. And they're going to start clawing these chips out and trying to take these chips out. Right? But, you know, once you take that chip, and it's too late. You know, there's no repentance for it. You know, even if you take it out, man, I mean, that's it. You still committed the act. But you know, and it's funny because, again, you know, this guy Jose Delgado, you know, he studied pretty much, you know, Neuralinks, right? And this guy could very well be Elon Musk in the reincarnation. You know, that's a very, very possibility, because what is Elon Musk pushing? A brain chip, an implantable brain chip. And what's his whole campaign? What's he campaigning? All right. Because the same thing with this guy, Jose Delgado, where he was pretty much going into people that are sick and mentally ill and stuff. And this could be the cure for it. Right? Elon Musk is pretty much saying the same thing. This brain chip, all right, is going to be able to cure diseases and certain ailments and stuff. All right, this is going to replace the healthcare system. Right? This is what you know. This is what the talk is. So again, you know, this guy could very well be Elon Musk in the regeneration and reincarnation. You know, he could very well be back. You know. But so yeah, you know, mind control, man, through the idea of an implantable chip, which is the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, radio frequency identification chip. All right, you know how these, because like I said, man, these frequencies, man, they're gonna be jacking people up. You know, people are gonna become, once they take that chip, man, people are gonna they're gonna become real life zombies. You know, in certain cases, man, people are not going to they're going to lose complete control of themselves. You know, because like I said, who's to say there's not another individual behind these chips, you know, controlling and pushing buttons. But nevertheless, you know, over the years, as things become more digitalized, you know, and Esau is pretty much geared the people up. He softened the people up into accepting this, you know, man merging with machine, transhumanism. All right, you know, technology, convenience, and all this, you know, all this other stuff. Because best believe, you know, people, they're gonna get to a point where, you know, this technology is so advanced. The next step, man, is people are just gonna say, well, why not have it in me already? Why not just have it in me? Another thing that Elon Musk, something that he brought out, being able to stream music directly from your brain. Like, come on, man. You know? But let me get this in Revelations 13:16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, time in and time out, we go through this. All right. That word mark here, charagma. All right. Which is something implanted under the skin. All right. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. Because one way or another, you know, eventually, soon, Esau Edom, he's going to make these, this is going to be the new wave. This is going to be the new thing. And it's going to be mandated. And from the looks of it, all right, because we often say how, you know, first it could be voluntary, just like with the vaccinations, you know, first is voluntary. Now they're talking about physically holding you down and injecting you with vaccines. right? If you're paying attention. But you know, with prophecy moving so quickly, because I read an article and I did a video on it, you know, dealing with the digital dollar, something that's going to be mandated, you know, recall of all paper money, and everything's going to be, all your money transactions, payments, and everything's going to be digitalized. So they can very well bypass the volunteer part and just go straight into, you know, mandatory. Like, this is something you got to get. You know, because again, best believe this is going to be the new wave, the new thing, the new trend. You know, everyone's going to be getting this thing, man. The mass majority of the people they're going to get this. They're going to take it. And again, if you take that, man, you're done. You signed your death warrant. You've sold your soul. Let me get that in Revelations 18. Because again, man, you know, time in and time out, we say, you know, we're just repeating ourselves. Ultimately, it's about control. And clearly, you know, the videos that I just played, all right, you know, they're going to be able to control your spirit, man, your thoughts. And that's what Esau's looking for. Let me get this in Revelations 18 and verse 11. It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour." See, Esau, they have all these things, man. They have all the wealth, all the goods, all the resources. They have everything. No, but being that these devils, they're greedy, they can't have enough. So this is why they're looking for your spirit. When you read on, it says, "And wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men." So there is a such thing as selling your soul. All right. And if you take that chip, you're branding yourself as cattle. You're giving ownership over to Esau. All right. Because again, you know, that's Esau's way of branding you as his, as basically you're a slave master. If you take that chip, you're you know, giving ownership to Esau. He owns you, and ultimately, you know, that's the ultimate selling your soul. Complete control, man. That's what it's about at the end of the day. That's the end goal. That's the end game for these elites. They want complete control, complete dominance. And let's just say hypothetically, they, you know, the Lord wasn't going to come back and they actually accomplished their new world order, right? That wouldn't be enough. Let's say they chip everyone, even the elect, because even the scriptures say, you know, if it were possible, the elect would be very, you know, the very elect would be deceived if it were possible. So let's say it were possible, even the elect that got sealed, or excuse me, they got deceived and they took this chip, and they ended up chipping everyone, and you know, the Georgia Guidestones maintaining humanity under 500,000, or what was it, 500 million. Let's say they accomplished it. That still wouldn't be enough for them. So this is why these devils have to be taken down, you know, regardless. Because even if they got what they wanted, they wouldn't, because the scriptures say when they're about to fill the belly, the Lord is going to, you know, pretty much shit on their parade. But let's just say they did fill the belly. They still wouldn't be able to get enough. That's still not enough for them. They, you know, again, they're greedy bastards. They can't get enough. So this is why Yahweh Shem Shah has to destroy this place one way or the other. You know, but you know, Slakia, I was, you know, the spirit was just on me to, you know, do a video on it right away. I wasn't really prepared or anything. It's kind of all over the place. So Slakia for that, but nevertheless, hopefully you were edified. And once again, we give all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai and give a double honor to the apostles and others, a great millstone. And until next time, shalom.